So can we start just by explaining the aims of the foundation? So just to be clear, the foundation is set up to provide support for people who are suffering from mental illness?
I think that some of the demands that are made by the industry on people that are artistically inclined can overwhelm them to the point where they take drastic action. And so it's not just a question of getting people through these schools, it's also supporting them in being able to manage their way, navigate their way after they've left those places. And to, I think it's quite well known that artists have had those problems for years. Well, the foundation, I hope, we're going to be speaking to people who dealt with artists with problems in that direction, and to see why that happens, and maybe there's a different way of going about this.
Do you ever see yourself as a designer yourself, in the sort of pragmatic term?
I do design myself.
But you do create your own garments, don't you?
Yeah, I do, the whole time.
Right.
I've got about 15 on the go at the moment.
Really? And so, when you're working with a designer, or there are certain designers who you've been associated with more than others. Would you mind naming those for me? Who are your top 3 or 4 designers who you would think, well, I really have to mention?
Alexander. Carl. Gareth. Noritaka.
Right.
Christian Louboutin to begin with. I mean, like the shoes that are over there, which we made, and I've got pictures of us making them in Los Angeles airport, among other places, are now up for sale. And yes, it's so funny. I've got all these very funny pictures of us in sort of, I don't know, Burger King and sort of LAX.
Always the most inspirational places.
I know, exactly.
I just want to try and establish with somebody like Carl, how does that process happen?
Which people sort of tend to forget about couture is that you don't necessarily need to have the cap thing that comes down the catwalk. The whole point is that you can take the sleeve off one thing and you can put it on another, or you can actually make the jacket long, or you know, I mean, it's not pret-a-porter. But I mean, I have a whole second collection going on down there.
What do you mean by a second collection?
Well, I'll have a dress from sort of, I don't know, 5 years ago, and then I'll sort of go upstairs and I'll say, could you make this into a coat, please?
When you say you go upstairs?
To the petit main.
Atelier? All right, okay.
Yeah, and then I'll say, and actually I need some white shirts, and can they look like this?
Right.
And so and they'll make them.
So how's the relationship between you and Gareth? Just so I can get some idea of it. Does he come to you and show you his collection? Do you see it on the catwalk for the first time, or do you go to him with ideas? So or is it always different?
He I don't influence. I don't think. What happens with Gareth sometimes is that what he'll do for men, I'll ask him to do for me. Because I love his men's stuff, especially the nailed stuff. Yeah. I went wild for that.
So do you go to the catwalks of the designers you work with? Or you don't like that moment of being in public and being?
I don't like that moment of being in public, but I'll do it for someone like Gareth. Yeah. I'll do it for someone like Carl, because I've been going for 25 years. Yeah. And but not the pret-a-porter one. Just I'll try to go to one a year. But there are so many people who want to go. Yeah. I don't want to take up the space, really. I mean, it's such, and it's a huge part of your day.
Yeah, sure.
The ones the shows that I really loved were Alexander shows, because they weren't really shows; they were pieces of theatre. I don't think anybody else does that.
No, very few. Do you view the dresses a bit as your children? By that I mean, are you going to miss them?
Yes and no, but like with children, you have to let them free, and they need to have a life with someone else. Right. And it's like sort of, if you hang on to things, they don't have another life, and it's wrong to sort of hang on too much to things. Right. I think you have to let them have a sort of a history of their own life. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a slightly antagonistic question. How will you feel then if you see somebody else wearing one of your dresses that you know is your dress?
I'll feel honoured.
Right.
Yeah, I will. I'll just feel happy if they're happy.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, Izzy was quite like that. She wouldn't like it if you wanted to wear one of her hats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
So when Julia said, you know, you look great in one of her hats, I was like, no way, she'll come and visit me in the middle of the night.
Are there 2 or 3 items that you think, are they tearing at your heartstrings to see
Yes.
them go? I thought there might be.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, all of them have a sort of Izzy reason for being in the sale. Either she would have loved them, or she would have hated them, or she would have had some sort of opinion,
Right.
or we'd have had a laugh about them, or I wore them when I was with her.
Right.
And so I thought about that pretty carefully.
So do you feel the collection is brought together by her character to some degree?
To some degree. To some degree. I didn't put anything ethnic in it.
Right. Because?
I remember one day arriving at her house, I was wearing an ethnic necklace. She said, "Oh, do get rid of that dreadful ethnic necklace. Really, it's just not chic enough."
Right. What I'm keen to know is how much the dresses change your emotions.
When I'm in my sort of Blade Runner kind of sort of escape from New York,
Yeah.
and then then I feel like I can pretty much take on the world.
Yeah.
And then you can, then sometimes I'll wear something a little bit more ladylike, and then
Yeah.
it sort of feel sort of like a little bit more fragile.
Yeah. Are there particular materials that you love wearing? So silk or
Diamonds.
latex? Right.
I like wearing very beaten up old leather
Right, okay.
and canvas.
Right.
I like men's suiting
Really?
because I wanted to be a sergeant's portrait. Actually, you wait till you see my 2 new suits, you're going to die.
Excellent.
Yes.
Who have you had 2 new suits
Ooh,
made by?
they're so good. Huntsman, so sharp. And I love frogging.
I beg your pardon?
I like frogging and I
Yeah.
like anything military.
Do you have a particular colour palette that you
Black
like?
and white.
Right. Any colours you'll never wear?
I hate prints.
Right, okay.
I have a really, really, really strong dislike of prints.
Right.
Joe says that, in fact, if he sees a print even near me, he's just, let's take that away from her, she's going to have a nervous collapse, which is true.
Right. Is there anybody in history, Daphne, in the history of fashion design, who you think, I wish I'd been alive to be able to wear a...
Vionnet and Madame Grey. Poiret. I mean, all those Adrian
Right.
sort of, I like all that sort of Hollywood stuff.
Right.
I quite love Oleg Cassini.
Right.
I know that's quite an odd thing to say, but I think
Yeah.
he was rather good. Schiaparelli to a point.
Right.
I think she was a bit, I think she's slightly overrated,
Mm-hmm.
but I think if I could, yeah, Madame Grey and Vionnet.
Right.
For me, I mean, it's great looking through the past, but also projecting it into the future.
Yeah.
So I think this sort of constant referencing the past. Now it's just like, okay, well, what are you going to do this year? Oh, it's going to be the 60s, but it's got no solid cultural roots in what's happening today.
So are you a believer in the original thought?
Pretty
You think?
much. I don't think that dress should be an add-on.
Right.
It should be an extension of who you are.
And you've used fashion, or you wear fashion in a particularly strong way, so you're very bold with your statements.
I never thought I was very bold.
I think you are.
So I kind of thought that by overdressing, I was actually disguising myself and no one could see me. It's like the child that does this, thinking they're invisible. And in fact, I was just becoming more and more visible.
Right.
And I've done the opposite, and it hasn't worked.
Right.
Like, I put on a black wig and some blue contact lenses and a pair of flat shoes, and I look really not like myself.
Right. You have used quite different fashion spaces to express yourself and to express fashion, notably the department store window. I'll talk about Barney's.
Yeah.
But it's a very, in a way, it's taking fashion right onto the street. And I think that's an interesting phenomenon.
There's a whole history of department stores with people in them, and that started with Marie Antoinette, and being in a shop window is actually, funnily enough, not so new.
Right.
I mean, when I did it, it was actually just me having a joke, and
Yeah.
the joke was on me.
Mm.
And it was very, very touch and go whether I'd actually get through that. But it was the only way I could find the link between Isabella and me, sort of with those windows, because Barney wanted to do all FIT windows, and I wanted to bring Isabella's stuff to New York. And I said, and I can change in the empty space in the middle. And I was saying that to Dennis Friedman, who got it completely, but the suits thought, what a great idea. So the day approached, and I was like, no way. I thought this is going to go so badly wrong.
I do find it interesting, knowing you a little, and know that you're a very shy person, but you do push yourself right to the forefront.
I didn't mean to. I think what it is it's probably quite good for me, because I can get very solitary if I don't do that.
Right.
And I know there's a lot going on in my head that I should express, and I can't express it in some ways. That in a way, doing that helps. Maybe a little bit more of a plan would help. I mean, like the gig. I mean, what the hell was that all about? I mean, one day I'm just doing band practice, the next day I'm on stage. I mean, heaven's sake.
Well, but I do notice this is a recurring theme in the way you work and you live your life.
And also, I'm inspired by the people I work with, i.e. you.
Well, thank you.
I mean, Jesus Christ, I mean, David made me do some unbelievable things. Joe's made me do. I mean, it is that. But I am attracted to people that will push me in that direction. And actually, if someone believes in me enough, then there's no way I'm going to let the side down. I'm just so happy to have been able to have all those chances at SHOWstudio to be able to express myself.
Oh, they're just beginning, Daphne.
I know. Oh, I got some ideas.
You and I are both friends with Lee. Could you tell me a little bit about how it was working with Lee?
Really quick. And he'd just take a pair of scissors and start cutting right on me. And then he'd sort of go, hang on a second, I've got something in this drawer, and he'd cut something in half and put it here, and then within about 5 minutes he'd have them back out. And then the other thing he'd do would be come over to my house, take a rail of clothes, then they'd come back sort of in pieces.
You would take a rail of your own clothes?
Yes. And
by
then
other designers?
By other designers, or you know, just vintage stuff. Because he'd want to see how they were made. But he wouldn't sew the linings back in. But I tell you what, he was the only person who ever gave me anything for free.
Really?
As a present, you know, really, really kind.
I know.
Really kind.
It's with him and Sean that you came up with the idea of armour.
Yeah, exactly. But we were huddled in the corner of the V&A, and we one idea led to another idea, led to another idea, and that made our evening, because that's all we were talking about, sort of like a little cabal in the corner, and then it started. He was so happy in his studio. That's when he was happiest, or with his friends. He was a completely different person. He just didn't like being with people. I get it. He inspired such loyalty in a way, because he believed in one so much.
Okay. In the whole collection of clothes in this sale, is there one favourite?
The silver dress.
The silver bell dress?
Yes. Very sad to see that go. Because that one we did together. I mean, he'd done I've got a few versions of that, but that one I wanted to look like it was one from outer space.
Right.
And also the lacquer dress at the front, and also the poof dress. That's one of the first things I ever bought. That was Lacquer's first collection.
Right. Really?
In 1987.
Do you always buy to wear, or sometimes if you see something exquisite that you wouldn't wear it, would you just buy it so you could have that as an object?
Yes.
Right.
That's really silly. There's so much I couldn't wear, but as objects they are beautiful, like those Noritaka shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, they are more than a shoe. They're something else.
Fashion is a sculpture.
You know, you take it one notch higher and it's art.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.